If you want to learn a melody by ear or improvise over the changes, it really helps to know the scale for that song. In this lesson, I'm going to help you figure it out. By the way, my name is Jason, and this is FiddleHed Fiddle Lessons. Good to have you, as usual, because you always are here. You always come back, right? And if you don't, welcome. So, if you have sheet music and you know how to read, then this problem is simplified completely, because all you have to do is look at the key signature. So the most common keys for fiddle music would be G major, 1 sharp, D major, 2 sharps, A major, 3 sharps, okay? But what if you don't know how to read sheet music? Well, you could always take my note reading for fiddlers class, but I'll link that below. But that's not the point of this lesson. The point is to give you a way to find it by ear. So I've come up with this 3-step process. It's kind of a trial and error process, but I think it will not only help you figure out the scale of the song, it'll just improve your musicianship in general. So here are the 3 steps. The first is to figure out the tonic note. The second is to figure out the type of scale. Is it major or minor? And the third is to confirm that that choice you made or that guess you made is correct. So let's jump into this with a couple of examples. Okay, so the first step is to figure out the tonic note or the root note. And a good way to think about this is a note that when you play it with the song, the melody sort of feels at home. A good rule of thumb is to ask yourself, what's the last note of the song? And that is very often the tonic note. So let's try it with a very simple song. See if you can tell what the tonic note is. Had a little lamb, fleece was white as snow. So if you're unsure, you may want to rewind, because I think you can get it if you just listen once or twice. That was Mary Had a Little Lamb in A major. So we first want to figure out the tonic, so we would figure out that's A. So let's try another example, maybe a longer snippet, to see if you can figure that out. So as I play it, experiment with playing different notes. You can do this on whatever instrument you're using, or even with your voice. What note is going to sound the most at home? Also listen for the last note. So I'm playing a snippet of a song here. So again, try to figure that out. What is the tonic? If you didn't get it, if you're unsure, just rewind a few times before I say what it is, and I'm about to say what it is. The tonic is D, okay? So I'm not gonna tell you what type of scale it is. That is step 2. Let's move on to this next step. So I'm gonna play it again, and I want you to think about the feeling. Is it bright and happy, or is it sad and somber? Now this is super simplified, super overgeneralized, but for now it's a pretty good way to figure out whether it's major or minor. So here it goes. I'm going to play the same exact snippet. Happy or sad? I did my best to keep a poker face during that. Okay. So it is a major scale. It's got more of a bright and happy sound. Okay, so now let's do the last step in this little process I came up with, which is to confirm that this is the right scale. So first, make sure you get that D major scale on your fingers. Starting open D, open 1, 2, 3, open A, 1, 2, 3. You may want to rewind if you didn't get that or you haven't learned it yet. And then now, when I play that melody, try to play the scale over it and see if it sort of jibes with it, okay? And you may also want to play a different scale, rewind and do it at a different time to see if that doesn't work as well. So here we go. So I'm going to do it one more time, and now I really suggest you do just a totally different scale. A major or G major or and a minor scale if you know it, and just see how it clashes a little bit more than that D major. Same piece. Okay, so those are the main steps. Again, I'm going to repeat this a few times. It's not some formulaic, automatic way of figuring out a key, but the more you do this, the more you will kind of start to hear the scale in melodies. Another practice is to, anytime you learn a song and you do know the scale, is to alternate between the scale and the song. It's just a great practice. I'll also say before, we're going to do another example, but that there are apps for this, and that could be useful in a limited way, but kind of like using a tuner to tune up your fiddle or play in tune, it can be overused and you become overly dependent on it and never develop the skill of hearing what the scale is for the song. So I definitely recommend you practice it, and I'm going to try to put together some more examples that on a page that'll be free for anybody watching this video, so you can just head over to FiddleHed and practice a little bit more. But you don't even need that. You can practice on anything. You can practice anything. You can practice anything. But I'm gonna create like a quiz-like format to be like, here's a piece of music, and work through the steps and tell me what you think that, and then you'll have an answer hidden away that you can find. Okay, so now let's move on to another example. So I'm going to play another very short tune. I think I'm going to play the whole tune, and let's work through each step. First step, remember, is find the tonic. What is the tonic note? Here we go. All right, so give you a minute to, not a minute, rewind if you don't think you have it. If you do, here's the answer. The tonic is A, okay? Step 2, what is the scale? So now ask yourself, is it somewhat sad or somber? Is it somewhat bright or happy? And come up, and then, so just listen and see if you got it. Here we go. What do you think? Okay, rewind. This is your last chance to rewind if you don't want to hear the answer, but it's a minor scale, so A minor, all right? I tried to throw you off a little bit by smiling while I was playing it. Did you catch that? Okay, so let's do the last step. I'm gonna play it one more time. I want you to play an A minor scale, actually the A Dorian minor. Open 1, low 2, 3, open E, 1, low 2, 3. So as I play that, as I play the melody, just sort of play around with that scale, see if it fits. And then you may also want to do the counter test to see if a different scale kind of clashes. I'm only going to play it once, so you may want to rewind if you want to do both tests. Here we go. Of course, I could really schmaltz it up and make it more gloomy if I wanted to. Okay, so moving on. So I'm gonna give you the takeaways in just a sec, but I wanted to thank, I forget, there was a FiddleHed student who wrote in with this question, and I forget her name, but thank you for the question. And just in general, thanks to all you guys, all the FiddleHed students, because this whole method, the FiddleHed method, is really a project of conversation with students. That's been happening for years, since I've started teaching a long time ago. And I like to think of it as this great conversation of learning. So I'm just gonna close this lesson. I'm gonna say once again, there's a lesson page where you can find further examples, and that'll be linked, or a link in the text. And then I hope you have fun trying to figure out songs and trying to improvise with the scale. You know, another fun thing you can do is, if you figure out the scale for a song, just try to improvise with the scale while the song's playing, recording. It's a great, I mean, in high school, that's a lot of how I learned how to create music and improvise. So, okay, so we're gonna close with the takeaway, so you can just walk away with this, holding this in your mind forever. Okay, here it is. If you wanna figure out the scale of a song by ear, first figure out the tonic, then figure out the type of scale, major or minor. And eventually you'll get good at this, and you'll start to be able to pick out other types of scale, like Mixolydian or the klezmer scale, and so on. And then the final step is to confirm that it's the right scale by playing it while listening to a recording. Okay, have fun. Go to FiddleHed.com for a progressive, step-by-step course outline, color-coded tabs, play-along tracks, sheet music, and much more. Thanks for watching the videography. Excellent! And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.